There's an application in the App Exchange called ABC Project Manager Template Edition, and it uses actions and webhooks. But I thought I'd do one around automations, using automations, because automations are a popular thing. Now, if I put that into the Exchange for people to look at afterwards, when they copy the application out, it's going to be non-functional. The tables will be there, yes, but the automations will be purged, and our product people are working on ways of being able to copy applications, but at the present time the automations get wiped out. So this is to memorialize that and to show you what these actual automations look like. So let's talk about the flow of how things look. Inside QuickBase, this is projects have tasks and projects have messages. And you can see there's project types and templates. These are two that we're going to use for templating. And if we look at the relationship diagram under App Management, under Settings, you'll see there's Show Application Diagram. And so here we have the projects, which have tasks. So if you do this over and over again, you know that you want to templatize something, especially if you've got a project type you do over and over with multiple steps, and that's what this example is. Down here, there are two separate tables that allow you to templatize things, and you can create and adjust them as you will and create as many of them as you want. And when you're creating a project, you're selecting the type, and when you do that, it's going to say, hey, type, I want you to tell your children, your template tasks, to copy themselves and link them back to the project so I don't have to do it manually. So anyway, that's the foundation of what's going to happen. And if I come into projects and I'm going to say a new project, and we'll say it's project 11, for instance, and we fill out all this extra stuff in here. Let's say it's Albert and it's in progress, and there's a date associated with this here, and with an expected end date sometime in the future. This is where we're selecting the template, and I only have one template in here. Build a house. Click. So down below here there aren't any tasks. I'm going to click on Save. And what it does is it's going to add all of those to the system. So let's scroll down here and notice there's only two here. There are more than that. If I refresh the page, because this happened so quickly, the page loaded before it actually showed all the others of the 7 tasks that are really a part of this process. So by selecting that, it copied all of them. Well, how did it do that? It took, when the record is changed or added, and if this number, it took this number, and it said, when this field changes, is an automation that grabs this and pumps it into the type over here. And you'll see there's the number 10. It was passed along up here. And furthermore, all of the tasks that are below will all have the 10 passed to them, which is right here. And because of this changing, it says, well, whenever I'm changed, go back and copy myself into the tasks and link me back. And if I come back in here, there's number 11 right there. So project 11, excuse me. And if I go into any of these tasks, it's linking back to the requesting project record ID. So let's take a look at the automations that make that happen. So in the previous video, I did it with actions, because actions allow you to be able to copy. But we're kind of devaluing actions because automations is becoming more capable. But there are use cases when it's still desirable, and it's done at the table level. You can find automations anywhere, but here we are, automations. So I created 3 of them, and there's step 1, step 2, and step 3. And this is the part where if you copied the application, you would not see these because they would have been wiped out. So I'm going to walk through the thought process in here. Any automation has a trigger and an action. And so what is the triggering event? So I'm going to say in the projects table, whenever we're adding a project or modifying an existing project, but only if a specific, and this is an important component, only when a specific field, meaning that drop-down box, project type, has changed, and only if its related number is not 0, which means that if somebody ever switched it back to 0, I don't want you to fire off on that event, because you'll just be firing blanks. This is only when it's actually going into making a selection of a different project type. Okay, so that's the triggering event. And what will we have it do? Well, I want it to modify records in the types table. This is that where the template starts. And how do I know which record in the project? You might have 20, 40, 100 of these different things. Well, it's where these match, where the project type, which was just selected up in the project type table, is equal to the selected project type that you did in the projects table. So that's the alignment. So now that I found that particular template, what I want to do is take the requesting project record ID field that's inside that template, that project type. I'll find this blank field and copy the value of the requesting project's record ID. Okay? Awesome. That's step one. So let me cancel out of here, and we'll come back to step two. Now, since that field is changed, I want an automation that recognizes that. So whenever something modifies in the project types table, but only when the requesting project record ID has been updated, and only if the project record ID has not gone back to 0. So this is the new project's requesting record ID. It's telling it. What do I want to have happen? Well, I want it to tell the children. So it goes down into the template tasks. And how do I know the children? Well, because the related project type is equal to the record ID. This is automatically done for you. So that shouldn't be a big deal to happen because it's a child table. It recognizes it automatically. And then, well, what do you want to do when you get down there? Well, please find the field called requesting project record ID and copy the value that you just got from the project itself in the project types table. So you're just moving this token around. So that's the end of step 2. All right, let's go to step 3. And we'll go down here into step 3. And we'll say, okay, something happened in that template tasks table. Well, when a record is modified in the template tasks, but only when this number's been updated. Now we're passing that token around, and where it's not a 0, I want you to do something with it. What do you want it to do? Well, I want to add the templated tasks where I'm looking down at the project phase. In the task table, there's a field called project phase, and I want to copy the value of it to project phase, and task name assigned to duration. All of these are passed down, but this is one of the most important ones. This is how it knows to come home. I want those tasks that are being created automatically to find the related project. That's the reference field in that task table. I want that to match the value in and it's the requesting project record ID. See, this has been passed around. It went from project to template to project type to template tasks, and now it's copying it back down into the related project. So there you go. There's a way of using automations to make that happen. Now, there is a scenario where you may have predecessors, and imagine if you create predecessors. The record IDs of these are different than the record IDs of these. So I would encourage you to take a look at ABC Project Manager Template Edition, because you use a webhook to make and update all the predecessor numbers that need to happen for the invocation of predecessors. Thanks.